Now, I know Expedition 33 has a lot of interesting characters, but one of them that we don't really get to see a lot of the time is Clea, the firstborn daughter of the Desadre family. Now, being the firstborn means that she's very important, right? Well, yes and no. In the story, she doesn't really have that big of an impact, but if you go out of your way to learn about her, you understand what she is as a character and what she means to the world of Expedition 33. Now let's start at the earliest bits of information that we know about Clea. We know that her and Verso were the ones to create the canvas that we're in. So Esquier, Monoko, and Francois, all those characters that you see in the canvas, are actually products that Clea and Verso created. And when it came to Francois, Clea and Francois were the best of friends, even to the point where they would sing and dance with each other every day as the years went on. But here's the thing, Clea eventually grew up and then left the canvas for very long periods of time, to the point where Esquier even mentions that it's been a few centuries since Francois and Clea have talked to each other. Now, we don't know exactly what Clea was doing when she left the painting up until the night of the fire, but what we do know is that she was actually becoming a very skilled painter, so much so that even her mom has trouble keeping up with her. We can confirm this by looking at what Mael says right before the fake Clea boss fight, where she says Clea is the only person skilled enough to paint over someone else's creation. But after the night of the fire, Clea actually ends up finding out who started the fire and the people who ended up getting Verso killed. It was actually a group known as the Riders, and now we don't know who the Riders are exactly, but Clea needs help fighting them because Renoir has stated that she is fighting a solitary war and she needs assistance. This is where Clea decides to enter the canvas and actually find Eileen and Renoir herself. But when she ends up finding Eileen, she actually ends up finding the family that she created inside the canvas, and that pissed Clea off. The reason why Clea was so angry at this is because Clea hates the depictions that Eileen makes of her. So she ends up taking Clea from the canvas and removing her will from her entirely, placing her somewhere so far away that no one can find her and forcing her to create Nevrons. And after sealing the painted Clea away somewhere else, she decides to swap places with the painted Clea and go to Simon. Now, we don't know why Clea didn't remove the will from Simon, but what we do know is that Clea gave him such a power up that Simon was able to fell an axe on. After this, Clea leaves the canvas but actually enters it a short time later just to tell Verso to keep an eye on Mael. But yeah, no, that's really about it when it comes to Clea as a character. The only real thing that I left out was a message that she left for Simon in his head, but I'll get to that in a Simon video. And also, narratively, it's kind of weirdly stated that she's supposed to be the siren, but she isn't. I'll get to that in its own video. But yeah, no, that's really about it, so yeah.